Hello, everybody. My name is MJ the Tutor, and you are listening to another episode of Accounting Makes Sense, an MJ the Tutor podcast. This podcast is focused on helping accounting students all over the world by offering a quick warm-up on various accounting and business topics that hopefully leads to the generation of bigger discussions and conversations. For all those studying or thinking about doing CIMA right now, this is for you. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the all-important document, the pre-scene material. This is a document that CIMA releases at specific times during the year as background information for the different case study exams. Each level, operational, management, and strategic, has their own pre-scene material. So, in each session, there will always be 3 different ones. Depending on what level you are, you then get hold of the pre-scene material for your level. So, if you are not quite sure what a pre-scene material contains, the pre-scene material always revolves around a specific company and industry. It's always a different company for each pre-scene. The company is fictitious though, but behaves and operates like real-life ones. In general, whatever level you are on, pre-scene materials provide various information about the company and the industry. It has details about its history, sometimes about its operation. If it produces goods, you may be able to learn how it creates its products. It normally has financial information and details about the board of directors as well. It is up to you how you are going to use this information to help you at the exams. So, what do we actually do with this 20-pager material? Here are 4 steps you could perform to help start you off with your pre-scene material. First things first, you won't get very far if you don't read through the material. So, you do need to go through it. Regardless of whether you find it interesting or not, there is no easy way about it. If you can't read it in one sitting, then you can try and do it in chunks. What I'd like to say here is that reading it once is not enough. Students read the pre-scene material quite a few times, and by the time they get to the exam room, most know the information almost to heart. This is not to say that students need to memorize the pre-scene. That's not it. It's just a natural progression from reading the pre-scene multiple times that you actually start retaining information. And one other thing when you are reading the material, this is not a mechanical activity. I specifically like to call this part active reading. And I talk about active reading as reading with digestion and understanding of what the material is telling you, aside from just the written word. Sometimes it is not just what it is saying, but what is between the lines as well. Okay, so here's the example. You get a sentence which tells you that Company X is a mature, established brand. In just one sentence, in just that sentence, it actually already tells you a lot. The word mature tells you that this company has been around for a while, has gone through quite a bit, and has come out successful. The word established tells you that the company is stable, or at least stable now, and will likely continue so. See how active reading works? The second step involves much the same as the first. I'd ask you to read the pre-scene material again, but this time I would want you to plot out a SWOT analysis for the pre-scene company. SWOT is basically the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the environment. While reading the pre-scene, make notes of the details you are gathering. You should be able to come up with strategies that the company is following, the risk it is facing, and the possibilities which are open to the company. The third step would be to take your financials included in your pre-scene materials and start calculating the ratios and margins on the results. Now, just to be clear, the case study exams are not calculation exams. There are numbers and there are some basic or simple calculations involved, but nothing too complicated or strenuous. Having said this, seeing that it's not a calculation exam, you may wonder, how important are the numbers then? I'd say that being an accountant, you probably already know this. The numbers provided on the pre-seen materials are not just to show you a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet. The movements of these numbers convey more than an increase or a decrease in margins. A decrease in margins might not just mean that profits are under pressure, but that may also mean that the company is operating in a much less efficient way than ideal. One more step to take when it comes to pre-seen material will actually take you out of the pre-seen. The pre-seen company and its industry is always fascinating. While it may be debatable whether it's gripping when you read it, but when it comes to being interesting and fascinating, it never disappoints. It's almost like the same kind of enjoyment that you get when you watch or read a fictional movie or book. The pre-seen immerses you into its world. Once CIMA releases it, you are part of the story. One of the things that does hinder a student from embracing this fiction is the fact that sometimes you may feel that you do not know enough about the company or industry to act familiar with it. The remedy is to undertake research. Now, I'm not talking about overly complicated and deep-rooted research. All you need here is to identify the industry that the pre-seen company is in, read up on some of the players in this industry, and take your cue from there. A little bit of research can help you understand the industry a whole lot better. What real companies have been doing, where their focuses are, what risks they are facing. Again, this need not be extensive, but enough to make you feel somewhat connected. I also wanted to add that these steps are a few of many. There are other steps that you could take to get more out of the pre-seen. Aside from the SWOT, you could also perform a PESTEL analysis or a 5 forces analysis, even a stakeholders mapping. These tools can help you paint a better picture of the pre-seen in your mind and can help you digest the information faster. Now that you've got some idea on what to do with that material, why don't you whip out your pre-seen material and let the preparations begin? The quicker you start, the sooner you'll start reaping the benefits of being immersed in the pre-seen world. So, that is it for me today. I hope you were able to learn something today from this podcast with regards to starting your preparation work for the case study exams. If you've already signed up for any of the upcoming exams, I wish you the very best. Thank you for listening to Accounting Makes Sense. As always, I am your host, MJ the Tutor. If you're keen to connect to be updated with the arrival of the next episode of this podcast or find CIMA resources online, please head on over to my website, www.mjthetutor.com. You can also hit subscribe on whichever platform you are using to listen to this podcast. If you want to connect on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under the name MJ the Tutor. So, I hope to see you again next time. Ciao for now!